Welcome back to my Book of Mormon summaries. We're on Alma 62. And it came to pass that Moroni caused that his men should march forth and come upon the top of the wall, and let themselves down into that part of the city, yea, even on the west, where the Lamanites did not camp with their armies. And the armies of the Lamanites were all gathered together, insomuch that they were all in one body in the land of Moroni. Now Ammoron, the king of the Lamanites, was also with them. And it came to pass that Teancum in his anger did go forth into the camp of the Lamanites, and let himself down over the walls of the city. And he went forth with a cord from place to place, insomuch that he did find the king, and cast a javelin at him, in the which he did pierce him near the heart. But behold, the king did awaken these servants before he died, insomuch that they did pursue Teancum and slew him. Now it came to pass that when Lehi and Moroni knew that Teancum was dead, they were exceedingly sorrowful. For behold, he had been a man who had fought valiantly for his country, yea, a true friend to liberty, and he had suffered very many exceedingly sore afflictions. But behold, he was dead, and had gone the way of all the earth. Because of the exceedingly great length of the war, many had become hardened, and many were softened because of their afflictions. But notwithstanding their riches, or their strength, or their prosperity, they were not lifted up in the pride of their eyes, neither were they slow to remember the Lord their God, but they did humble themselves exceedingly before him. Helaman chapter 1. Pahoran was appointed chief judge, but behold, Paankai rose up in rebellion. He was condemned to death. He sent forth one Kishkumen and murdered Pahoran. Now behold, Pecumeni was appointed according to the voice of the people to be chief judge and a governor over the people, to reign in the stead of his brother Pahoran, and it was according to his right. And all this was done in the 40th year of the reign of the judges, and it had an end. The year had an end. Therefore the king of the Lamanites, whose name was Tubaloth, who was the son of Ammoron, supposing that Gadianton, being a mighty man, could stand against the Nephites with his strength and with also his great wisdom, insomuch that by sending him forth he should gain power over the Nephites. And it came to pass that because there was so much great contention and so much difficulty in the government, they had not kept sufficient guards in the land of Zarahemla, for they had supposed the Lamanites durst not come to the heart of their lands to attack the great city Zarahemla. And now when Gadianton saw that he was in possession of the city, he saw that the Nephites had fled before them, and were slain, and were taken, and were cast in prison, and that he had obtained the possession of the strongest hold in all the land. His heart took courage, insomuch that he was about to go forth against all the land. And thus had Gadianton plunged the Lamanites into the midst of the Nephites, insomuch that they were in the power of the Nephites, and he himself was slain. The Lamanites did yield themselves into the hands of the Nephites. Helaman filled the judgment seat. Gadianton was the leader of the band of Kishkumen. And when the servant of Helaman had known all of the heart of Kishkumen, the servant of Helaman did stab Kishkumen even to the heart. But behold, when Gadianton had found that Kishkumen did not return, he feared lest he should be destroyed. Therefore he caused that his band should follow him, and they took their flight out of the land by a secret way into the wilderness. And thus when Helaman had sent forth to take them, they could nowhere be found. And there being but little timber upon the face of the land, nevertheless the people who went forth became exceedingly expert in the working of cement. Therefore they did build houses of cement, in the which they did dwell. And it came to pass that as timber was exceedingly scarce in the land northward, they did send forth much by the way of shipping. And now there are many records kept of the proceedings of this people by many of this people, which are particular and very large concerning them. But behold, 100th part cannot be contained in this work. It talks about all this stuff in that verse. Nevertheless, Helaman did fill the judgment seat with justice and equity. Yea, he did observe to keep the statutes, and do that is right in the sight of God continually. And he did walk after the ways of his father, insomuch that he did prosper in the land. And it came to pass that in the 49th year of the reign of the judges, there was continual peace established in the land. All save for the secret combinations which Gadianton the robber had established in the more settled parts of the land, which at that time were not known to those who were at the head of the government. Therefore they were not destroyed out of the land. And so great was the prosperity of the church, and so many blessings which were poured upon the people, yet even the high priests and teachers were themselves astonished beyond measure. The word of God, which is quick and powerful, lands souls into heaven. Nevertheless they did fast and pray oft, and did wax stronger and stronger in their humility, and firmer in the faith of Christ, unto the filling their souls with joy and consolation, yea, even to the purifying and sanctification of their hearts, which sanctification because of their yielding their hearts unto God. There's Nephi his son reigned in the stead of Helaman, as Helaman died. He reigned with justice